Greetings from Jivras Technologies. In this video, we are going to see how to integrate Google Forms with Stripe using Form Director. I have listed some of the popular use cases. Invoice the customer. Customer can purchase items using Google Forms, and customer can get a code from submitting Google Form. And finally, onboarding customer. So let us first look into how to invoice the customer. I have a simple form here which takes customer name and customer email and asks for the summary of the item and just the amount and comments. On submission of this form, I want to create an invoice to this customer using the amount and summary information that I have provided for the item. Let me launch Form Director for that. Click on Start Setup. Choose Stripe as an app. Let me give a name to this, Invoice Customer. Let me choose the service as Create Invoice. I need to connect with Stripe. To connect with Stripe, we need to provide the key for that. So let's see how to pick up the key. The key is available under Developers Keys, API Keys in the Stripe application. So let me go ahead and pick up that. Once I have provided the key, I can connect with Stripe. I have an option to send this invoice after creation, and I have an option to override the customer details. So let me go ahead and do the mapping. I have one field that is automatically mapped, so let me go ahead and say yes. So customer email is mapped. Let me check what other information to be given. So let me save items, item description. I will map it with item summary here. Item currency, I will make it as a hard-coded value, templated, saying USD. Item amount, I will map it with the amount field. And I'll map invoice footer with the comments. Okay, so it's a straightforward mapping. It takes the amount whatever has been provided in the Google Forms and it is expected to create an invoice on that. So let me save and close. I do not want an email notification after the invoice creation, so let me switch it off and save this. Now the form is ready with configuration, so let me go ahead and try how it works. Okay, I have now filled basic information. So the customer name, customer email, the item summary and the amount. It's a simple invoice with this item and this amount to be created for this customer. So let me go ahead and submit this. Once I have submitted, I expect this invoice to be created under the invoices section. Let me go ahead and check. Yes, the invoice is now created. So this is a simple invoice that has been created with only one item and the amount. So let me take you to the next version of this invoicing customer, version 2. In this, instead of asking amount directly, I'm going to ask quantity and unit price. So if the quantity is 5 and the unit price is 100, it is going to give you an invoice of 500. So let me see how it is going. Let me call this as invoice customer version 2. choose create invoice as a service, provide the key for connecting to Stripe. Let me do the mapping. I'll choose one field to be automatically mapped. So customer email is automatically mapped. So let me choose the other things. I'll take item description, map it normally with the item summary, and currency. Item currency, I will mark this as USD. Now the difference in version 2 is, instead of mapping amount with single item amount, I am going to map two different fields, one for item unit amount and second one is for item quantity. Unit price, I will map it with the item unit amount. Then I am going to map quantity, that is the item quantity, with quantity field in the form. Okay. Let me also map the footer with comments. So I'm done with the mapping. Let me save this and close. Let me save the entire service. So now this Google form is configured with form director to create invoice on the customer based on the quantity and unit price that has been supplied. Let us see how it works. Okay, here I have given item summary as consultancy, quantity is 5 and unit price is 500. So it is going to create an invoice with consultancy 5 quantity, unit price is 500. That means the entire invoice amount will be 2500. Let's see how it goes. You can see that a new invoice is created with 2500 USD. Now we are going to see another scenario where we are allowing customers to go and purchase directly from the Google Forms. On purchase of items from Google Form, we want to generate an invoice on Stripe. There are 3 variants in that. First is to choose one item from a list of items. Second one is to choose multiple items and look up price and quantity from a spreadsheet. The third one is purchase multiple items by looking up price plan and quantity from a spreadsheet. Let us see how to do it. This is a simple form which allows the user to choose a product and order it. So user can give name, email and choose a particular product and provide billing address and submit it. On submission of this form, I want to create an invoice on Stripe based on the product that he has chosen. So to do that, I have a configuration in a Google Sheet which says what is the item and what is the item amount, the currency and item description. So I'm now going to use form director to map this product selected with the configuration here and generate an invoice. Let us see how to do it. Let me launch form director for that. Start setup. Choose Stripe as an app. Provide a name to this. Choose create invoice as a service. Pick up the API key from Stripe and give it here to connect it. Let us now do the mapping. I'm going to map customer email to the email field here. After that, I'm going to map item information. So let me see item description. So this one I'm going to look up into the Google Sheet and take the item description based on what customer has chosen. Let me pick up the same Google Sheet. This Google Sheet has two tabs. The item list is the tab that we are going to use. Item list. I am going to match the product selected with the item name here, and the result that I am going to pick up item description so that it gets populated for the item description what I have mapped here. Similarly, I will also map item amount. This time the result value will be item amount. Finally, I will map the item currency also. The lookup result will be item currency this time. So I have mapped item description, item amount and item currency here. Let me save this and I will switch off sending emails and save this service. Now the form is configured and ready to create invoice on Stripe. Let us see how it works. Let's say the customer has given some information here and he has chosen the product Fast Train Toy for $50 and provided the billing address. So what should happen is it should look up Fast Train Toy into this Google Sheet and pick up 50 USD as a value and choose this amazing Fast Train Toy as the item description. And finally it has to create an invoice on Stripe. Let us see how it happens. Let me go ahead and submit this. I expect an invoice to be created at this place. Let's see. Yes, here it goes. An invoice is created here with the description that we have looked up and picked up from the Google Sheet. And the amount and currency is chosen and the invoices are now ready in Stripe. Now let us look at the version 2 of the same form, which allows users to choose multiple items and order them. Let us see how to configure this. We go to Form Director, Start Setup, choose Stripe. Let's give this a name. Let's choose Create Invoice as a Service. We need to connect with Stripe. Pick up the API key from Stripe. Stripe is connected. Now let's see how to do the mapping. I'll map the email to email. Then next thing that what I'm going to map is I'm going to map all these things to something called items. So let us see how to do it. So let me choose items. If you see this, there's a list of invoice item it says. Okay, so let's choose that. So this needs to be mapped with a lookup type. Let us choose this Google Sheet. Let's choose item list tab here. So let me see. Okay, so this is products needed, that I'm going to match it with the first field, which is item name here. So the first field I'm going to match it, and then the lookup result I'm going to pick up all the other fields, right? So currency I'm going to pick up from the currency field. Item description, take it from the item description. Item unit amount I'm taking from item amount. So let me delete the other things for now. Okay, so basically I'm mapping in such a way that look up this products needed selection with item name in this Google Sheet, and then return all these three values, currency, description and amount. So it will look up, based on the selection, it will look up this and then return all these three information. Form director will automatically look it up for multiple items and collect them, and then use it for summing up in the invoice. So that's all the configuration of mapping. Let's go ahead and save this. Don't want notification. Let's save this. So now configuration is done. Let's go ahead and test this. In this, I'm going to select multiple items. 1, 2, 3. All three items let me select. So totally the invoice needs to be charged for 25 plus 50 plus 75, that is $150. So let us see how it happens. Yeah, here it is. So if you click on this, you will see all three items are added. The description from the Google Sheet is taken. This description is taken and added here, and the prices according to the spreadsheet is taken and listed here. So total is $150. Now let us look at a typical scenario. The products are already configured in Stripe. Most of the cases, the products would be already configured in the Stripe. There may be thousands of or hundreds of products configured in Stripe already, and you might want to allow the customers to choose and order those items. So in these cases, instead of preparing a list like this, we can directly prepare a price list which just talks about the item name and the price ID and a quantity here. Right, so the price ID can be taken from the product. When you are going inside the product, you can see the price ID. So this is the price ID, so you can copy the price ID and put that into the spreadsheet and keep a price list which just has item name, the price ID and the quantity that needs to be purchased. Right? So the item price, the currency, the description, everything is taken from the product configuration which has been already done in this Stripe. So let us see how to do that. Open form director, start setup, let's go and pick up the key. Let's give this a name. Choose create invoice as a service. Let's go to the API keys and pick up the API key. Connect Stripe. Then let's do the mapping. Let me map customer email to the email field. Then I will choose items. This is the list of invoice items. I'll choose this. This needs to be looked up. I'll choose items as the Google Sheet. I'll pick up price list, basically the price list that I have maintained here, which has price ID. I'll pick it up from there. Then I will match the products needed with the item name. Then the result value that I'm going to map price ID with the price ID and quantity with the quantity. So I'm going to ignore the other things. So I've done the mapping. Let me save this and save the service. So now the form is ready. Let's go ahead and submit and see how it works. Let me give an email ID here. Let me call this as boom3. So this time let me choose the Taiwan and the don't hide. So totally it should be giving me a price of 75 plus 25, that is $100. Let's submit this. And you see the invoice appearing here for $100. Let's go and check this. So this is for two products with $25 and $75, whatever we have chosen, and totally $100. Now let's look at how a prospect can get a quote on submission of Google form. To demonstrate this, I have a very simple Google form, get a quote. It accepts name, email and products that the prospect is interested in. On submission of this Google form, I want to generate a quote and send it to the prospect at this email ID that has been given. Let us see how to do it. Launch form director for this. Click on Start Setup. Choose Stripe as the app. Let's name this as Generate Quote. Let's provide the Stripe key to connect. Stripe is connected. So let me go ahead and do the mapping. Before going and doing a mapping, I just want to show you the spreadsheet information again. So we have a price list which has item name, price ID and the quantities. So I'm going to use this price list and do the mapping in Get a Quote. Let us see how to do it. Just a quick one, we need to change the service into Create Quote and then do the setup mapping. Let me map customer email with the email. Next I'm going to use the items and use a lookup mapping for this. Let me choose the spreadsheet. Let me choose price list as the tab and I'm going to look up the products needed and match it with the item name. Then I'm going to use the result price ID mapped to the item price ID and quantity mapped to the item quantity here. So basically it will look up this name and then take price ID from here and quantity from here. Let me save this. I'll switch off the email notification here and click on the finalize code and save the service. Now a service for generating code is ready. After generating code, I want to send it as an email. So let me create another service. I'll call it a send code. Pick up email as an application, and then I'll do a little configuration here. I want to send this email to the customer's email ID, so I'll put that as dynamic field. Let's say that code for the products. Okay, I have formed a custom message. So let me save this. Then I will go ahead and choose a service result from the previous service, which is generate code. A code PDF is generated, so I'm going to attach that in this email. So let me save this. So I have two services. One is for generating code. The second one is sending that generated code PDF to the customer. Right, let's see how it works. Let me give my name for testing. So let me choose product 1, the flying car toy for $25 and drone high for $75. So this means I should get a code which has two items and the total price is 75 plus 25, $100. Let us see how it goes. I submitted this. Let me go to Stripe codes and then look at that whether it is generating a code. Okay, here you go. You can see that a code is generated. This is a code for two items totaling to $100. So this is the result of the first service. On the second service, a PDF generated out of this should have been sent to the email. Let us look at the email. So you can now see this email that has come out. Let me open it. So this has the information of the code and attaching the code PDF for the customer to have a look. Now let us look at a scenario of onboarding the customer into Stripe. So on submission of a Google form, I want to create the customers on Stripe. So let us see how to do it. I have a simple Google form here which collects the customer information, name, description, email, phone, address information, city, state and other information. So on submission of this Google form, I want the customer to be onboarded into Stripe. So for that, let's launch form director, start setup, choose Stripe as an app. Let's give this a name. Let's choose create customer as a service. To connect with Stripe, we need to provide the API key. Let me pick up the API key. Connect. Then let's go ahead and do the mapping. It says there are 10 fields which are automatically mapped, which can be automatically mapped. Let's go ahead and say that. Okay, since all the fields in the Google Forms are same name as whatever is there in the app field, it is directly mapping it. Let's go ahead and save this. I do not want an email to be sent, so let me save this information. Now the form is configured. Let's go ahead and test this. Okay, I have now filled this information for onboarding a customer. So look at this. This is the email that I have given, boomonboard@judas.com, and the other information I have filled. So let me go ahead and submit this. Let's go to Stripe and then see. Let me do a refresh. Okay, so here is the new customer that has been created. Let's click on this, and we can see all this information that we have supplied is being taken for creating this customer. So it is that easy to integrate Google Forms with Stripe using Form Director to invoice the customer or customer to purchase or get a quote, as well as onboarding customer. Thank you for watching.